Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are welcoming the amazing Guni Blohm from Denmark to talk about the topic of everything is always working out. And I will now hand it over to the amazing Guni to share because she's got so much to share with us. But first, I want to say thank you for this topic. And I know that you've got amazing life experience. Uh, Hard times, but you are sharing this with us to help us. So I want to say thank you for coming and being candid to talking to us about all of this. So I will hand over further intro to Guni to do, and then we'll get into the topic.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here, and I'm honored to have this opportunity to share my life experiences and the learning that I have had from it, because I hope that that can help somebody else. That's like when you go through difficult things and in the end you experience that somebody else have value from it. It's just amazing. So I will start. Yes, my name is Guni Blohm. I'm from Denmark. I'm married. No, I'm not married anymore. That's part of the story. No, I have two kids. I have two, almost three grandkids. Currently, I'm living in Spain, and that is part of my story. So, yeah. Let's see where to start. I grew up in Denmark. Um, in a family where we are four children. My parents, they built their own house, and they are what you call born again Christians. So Christians that believe in God as a personal father. Um, at a point of time, my father, he had a calling from God to go to the beaches far away to be missionary. And my father, he heard this twice, and my mother said, look, you heard it twice now. We have to act on this. So they decided that the beaches far away must be Zambia in Africa, because they needed missionaries there. And my father is a carpenter, and my mother is very skilled with her hands, sewing, doing all kinds of creative things. So they decided to sell the house, take four kids out of the school, put them into a caravan, and yeah, I can show you a picture of what it looked like. So let's see, we have it here. So this is my family.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I think we can't see the pictures. So, okay,
I need to
multiple. Yeah,
share,
so I got share screen on there.
share
Uh,
screen. You got
yeah.
it? Let's see this one.
There we go. So let's see. It's coming up.
Oh, yeah. I think it's let's see, I'm
Okay.
sorry. This is a better picture. This is more clear. Yeah.
Okay.
So so we sold the house, and we my parents bought a caravan, like a Land Rover, and a huge caravan afterwards, and we drove down through Europe. And the plan was to, when we reached Spain, we should buy a ferry ticket and go with the ferry to Nigeria and then drive into Zambia. Otherwise, we had to like have enough money and supplies to drive down through the Sahara Desert. And that was like a crazy wild idea. But anyway, once we got to Spain, we ran out of money. We had no more money. It was like just absolutely stranded. And this picture is from that time where we just came to Spain. A lot of different difficulties about being in Spain. The police was chasing us because we couldn't have the caravan and the car there, and a lot of different challenges. But it was Spain. It was sunny. It was fun, and I, as a child, had fun. So for me, it was an adventure. By the time I was, maybe I'll just stop sharing screen again. Stop. Yeah, stop share.
There we go.
Yeah. So yeah. So by the time I was 13, we had been in Spain for 4 years, and I needed to go back to Denmark to have my education. So my two older sisters, they had already left. So I left Spain. I came back to Denmark as 13 years old. I came to a boarding school and I lived there for 4 years. 3 years was, yeah. So my life goes on, stay in Denmark, got an education, met the guy, got married, and realized that he was an alcoholic. That was my very first, very, very challenging times, I feel. But it was also the time that I woke up to my own potential, to my own value, and to my own story, like the life story that I had from child, all these things that had happened to me. A lot of things happened in Spain because it was a difficult time. So I had experiences with my mother that was not very, very good for a child. Like we call it, she was suicidal, or she at least said, she said that she would go drown herself. And we were living in a house right on the beach, so I was totally scared. And I remember it was strange how children would think, because my mother, she was a swimming teacher, and I was like, can you do that? Is that possible? If you're a swimming teacher, can you actually drown yourself? But it was very traumatic for me those years. So when I was married and with my husband, who was an alcoholic, I had this urge to save him. I suddenly understood that the reason why I had been attracted to this man was because he was somebody I felt who needed to be saved. And I realized that I was trying to recreate the situation from my childhood where I could not save my mom. She didn't commit suicide. Luckily, she's still alive. Well, so but the feeling of needing to save somebody, because I was a child, I could not save her from her demons, from her everything that was going on in her. And now I was with this guy, and I was a grown up. So now I was, of course, I can save him. So I was hanging in there, trying to save him, trying to change myself, do everything so that he would be okay, And in doing that, I lost myself. I lost who I was. I lost my belief in myself, and the value in myself. It was like I was just a doormat for him. So finally, my sister, she got a hold of me and she said, "Guni, you need some help." And I agreed to seek some help, and I sought help two places. One is Al-Anon. I don't know if you know what that is, but it is a self-help community for the children of, or parents to, or spouses for alcoholics. So it's not the AA, it's not the anonymous alcoholics, but it is in the same field. So we use the 12 steps as well. And in that, I really realized that I did not have to save him. It was not, and it never can be, our responsibility to save somebody else. We need to save ourselves. So I started taking care of it. It was difficult for me to admit that I was part of the problem. It was, I saw him as the problem the whole time. It was, he had to change. He had to stop drinking. If he only changed, then everything would be all right, And for him, it was like, if you can just stop being so demanding, if you can just stop, just relax and just be fine, everything would be fine. So, yeah. And in that process, I realized that when I took care of me and I took responsibility for my part of it, my way of acting, my way of reacting, and what I said and what I did, then everything would be all right. I came to this really, really deep realization that I needed to want a good life for myself and my kids. And if that was my main focus, then it would solve itself. It would come to reality. So I did not think about I want to divorce him. I need to divorce him. When is it now? I have to push this through. It was just like, I just kind of I relaxed into the realization that when I do my work, everything else will work out. So, I'm just realizing I forgot something about Spain, but maybe we can
backtrack. I mean, this is amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So because the very first realizations I had about everything is always working out. That's the topic of this whole speech. Yeah, and I forgot it because I'm trying to put everything into this interview. Yeah. So when I came back from Spain to Denmark, and I was at this boarding school, it was a Christian boarding school, and I was in a Bible teaching class. I was looking in the dictionary. There's the dictionary about the Bible, and I was just looking through it, and suddenly I saw this. It said beaches far away, and I was like, "Is that actually a thing?" You know, I remember my dad's had this calling to the beaches far away, and I was, beaches far away, it's actually a thing. And it said that the beaches far away is countries in and around the Mediterranean Sea.
Oh my God.
That has nothing to do with Zambia. Like, and I just got the goosebumps now again, because it's so fun. It's like, it was like, I just had to write a letter to my parents and say, hey, look what I just found. You are exactly where you need to be, because that's where you were called to the beaches far away, and that is Spain, one of the countries. So that was, and I have been about 15 years old, I think, when I had that realization, and that has carried me through everything else in my life. It's been permeated through everything, because it was so profound for me to realize that when we stranded in Spain and everything went downhill and we all thought this is not working out, my mom had a depression, she was suicidal, my dad went into the mountains to pray to God every day and say, why is things not working out? Why do we have money? Why? We didn't have any money because we were not supposed to go any further. It's like so amazing once you realize that the things that you think are going wrong in your life or not working out, they are actually always working out, because there's a deeper meaning to it that we just can't see in that moment. Yeah, so that was
oh my God, it's giving me like
yeah.
I went to Spain with a bag and a book, and I lost all my money there. I wouldn't say lost. I educated myself through it and finished all my money like that. But there was a moment when I was fully fluent in Spanish, and I was like, I can't leave now after investing so much into this. It was a very tough time, but and there was a lot of questions in that time. But today I'm fluent. Like, it's working out for you. You're right.
Yeah, it is
Please
amazing
to go on, yeah. But yes, it's giving me goosebumps. What are you saying?
Wow. Yeah. Well, that was that realization that I had with me when I was in this marriage, and I could feel that I realized I'm not here to change him. He is here to have his own journey, and I am here to have mine. So I settled into the recognizing that I will have a great life. My kids and we will have the most amazing life. And I was just focusing on that, focusing on working on myself, stepping out of the pattern that I had with him. Like, every time he said something that would trigger me, I took a deep breath and I centered myself, and I answered from a centered space and not from the oh, you poked me, I'm getting hurt now, space. And I was so convinced that everything would work out. Either he would realize that he needed help and he would start going to some rehab or something, or or would we get divorced? I don't know. I didn't have the answers to how my life was going to continue, but I knew it would continue in a beautiful way. And one day, one after evening, I just said to him, well, I'm going to bed now. And he said, are you going to the wedding, my niece's wedding? And I was like, this is January, and the niece's wedding is in April. And he just gave me this random question, are you going to the wedding? And I was like, why? I was thinking, why are you asking me this now? But I said, I don't think so. And I was like, where did that come from? Why did I say I don't think so? And he asked me, what? And he said, why? And I said, because I don't think we will be together in April. And I was just as surprised as him. It just came out of the blue. But that is because it came from this deep knowing. And it wasn't myself that was trying to figure things out and coming up with the right answer and avoiding conflicts and blah, blah, blah. It came from my truth. It came from my inner truth that just said, no. And then we had the conversation. And we got divorced quite in what I wouldn't say on good terms, but it was there was no big fight, no slamming with doors, no stuff like that. It was just like, that's it. I was so convinced. I just knew that this is it. This is the next step for me. And and I was then there alone with 2 kids. Oh. I decided to stay in the house. The house was actually bought in my name because he didn't have any, he wasn't capable of being on any paper because he had a lot of debt. So the house was practically mine. And so I asked the bank, what do I do? And she said, well, it would actually be cheapest for you to stay. So, but it was an old house and there was a lot of things that needed to be fixed. The years we had been together for 13 years, and we did not have fixed the house at all. So I just have a picture I'd just like to share with you, like just so you can see again. Let me see, share screen. This one. This one. So that was an old farmhouse. The roof was totally full of holes. I had pots and pans under the roof to stop the rain from dripping into this living room. It was awful. And I was alone with 2 kids. I was a full-time mom, and there was animals on that small farmhouse. It was like, there was a lot of things to take care of and to do. And I felt overwhelmed.
Where was this?
This is in Denmark. This is a place called Cannon. Yeah, I was in Denmark. Yeah, after I came home back at 13 years old, I lived in Denmark. Until recently.
Oh wow! And the colors look so like Mexican Spanish.
Yeah, right? It's actually, but yeah, ochre. That color is called ochre. Yeah. It's used in many Danish old houses. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's an old house from 1879, I think it was. Like some of the bricks in that house was not like they were just dried. They were not actually baked in an oven. It was like you can, if you drop them, they just pulverize.
Oh wow!
So it was a really
I can see this.
Big task.
So what happened? Tell us next what happened.
The next thing happened. Well, I am in my family on my father's side. We had a family reunion every year, and I decided the family reunion could be at my place because now I was on my own and I could decide whether I wanted the reunion at my place or not. Earlier, my husband, he didn't want to be part of it, so I had the opportunity. So they came. The whole family came to my house for a one-day reunion. And we went for a walk, and my 2 cousins, they came up to me and they said, Guni, we've decided we want to help you to have a new roof. And I was like, what? And they said, yeah, if you can find the finances to buy the materials, we will come for a weekend and we will build the roof for you. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. You see, once again, everything is working out. I I was like, this old house, I'm here on my own, you know, and the solutions, they just come when you trust that you are supported always, you are guided always. The solutions will come if you are open to them. So I went to the bank and she said, you can take out a loan in the house, you can get the money for the materials. And my family, they came Thursday night, started breaking everything apart. And this is Sunday afternoon.
Oh my God.
We put on the first new cover for the roof. And what you can't see on this picture is that all the old roof and all the materials from the old roof, we just threw them to the ground. And it was like it was like a garbage place for the whole weekend. But my old father's brother and his wife, they were, I don't know, in the 70s at that time. They went around and they picked every single thing up. Every single little what do you call it, nail, everything. They picked it up and they put it in a trailer and they drove it off. So Sunday evening, my garden, everything was like totally clean. There was nothing there. It was such an amazing experience, such an amazing pulling together of family. My cousins, their wives, the kids, you know, everybody was there. And I had to ask one of my sisters if she would like take care of the cooking and the food and everything for, you know, so that people had something to eat, you know. And we were actually working from 6 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock at night for 3 days. It was so amazing. And my neighbor, he had been working on his house for years, you know, rebuilding on his own. And he said, every time I looked down the hill and I saw your house, something new had happened. He said, I just couldn't believe my eyes. so yeah, that was another amazing thing that I experienced, where I really felt that everything is honestly always working out. You know, it's if we put out a prayer and ask for guidance, ask the universe to tell us the next step, and we listen and step out of fear, because that's the next thing that happened for me. Just go back to stop sharing. Oh yeah, no, there's just this little one. When the family came and helped me rebuild the whole the roof, you know, I really became enthusiastic, and I was like, okay, look, I can do this, you know, I can make this happen. So I tore down the kitchen and I started rebuilding the kitchen. And this is a picture of my daughter, and this is actually my kitchen. and this project I did more or less on my own. For me, it was a part of my healing journey. You know, that from the years with my ex-husband pulling me down, telling me I couldn't figure anything out on my own. You know, I needed him. I wasn't skilled enough for anything, you know, just basically tearing me down. Building this house up and rebuilding this kitchen was part of my healing journey, proving to myself that I could, that I was skillful, that I had a lot of skills that I just hadn't been practicing. And yeah, so that was, you know, the healing journeys we go on. It's not it's often in the daily things, you know, small things that we decide. We say, okay, I'm going to do this, you know, okay, I'm scared about this, but I'm going to do it anyway, you know. It, instead of sit back and say, oh, I can't, you know, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, you know. It's like start believing in yourself, start trusting yourself, start trusting that you can do it on your own. You're not dependent on anybody else, you know, and your happiness is not dependent on anybody else at all. Your happiness is in you, and it's what you do with your life. You know, it's you create it from your inner self, from your core. Yeah. So yeah, so that was the old farmhouse story. And I'll just go on.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I'm going to stop you there for a second, because like I just, you know, you slow and steady wins the race, almost like some things that are so small that you're starting to come out of after after all that trauma, that first small step, that second small step, that third small step, just have to take the small step, that
Yeah.
eventually the small steps add up, then you before you know it, you've healed,
Yeah.
that you are moving faster. So
You've rebuilt yourself.
yeah, that small, slow steps that you've taken initially on the daily things is building up the muscle inside you to finally get ahead, where it will become natural. And I should take my own advice sometimes.
Yeah, I know that. I know that too.
Please
Yeah.
continue.
Well, after living in that old farmhouse or that place for 19 years, I was at that time a team leader at my work. I had two kids, alone with the two kids, the house, everything, all, I was practically burning my candle in both ends. You can do this for some time, but it was depleting me. And I had what do you call a stress? I had a stress leave from work. Um, Actually, before that, I was asking my workplace for some education, some skills, because I felt I needed some courses and to be in that demanding position that I had at work. And it just didn't happen. And I was on a project that was like, I'm that's another thing.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Guni had a little tech issue, but it's always working out for us, isn't it? So yes, please continue. Where were you now? I'm just thinking, where were you?
Yeah, where were you? Oh, yeah, it was the next big change in my life. Well, that came out of this stress. I went down with stress in a work situation, and of course, it is never only the stress in the work situation that makes you stressful. It is everything else that's going on in your life and the way that you handle things in your life. So I had I you know so I was at a course, and the coach, he asked me, if you could choose from any shelf in the whole world without thinking about time and place and anything else, family, nothing, what would your life look like? And I was like, what? And but I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to be responsible for a house and roofs and sewers. I don't want to be living far out in the countryside where I have to drive my kids everywhere. They don't, I was like a taxi driver all the time. I don't want to work where I have that much responsibility, where I'm like working day and night. I don't want that. And I want to live close to my family. So that was like, wow, okay. So when I came to that realization, I was like, okay, that's it. Gonna sell the house. I'm gonna move closer to my family. And I have three sisters. One was in the East Coast, one was in the West Coast, and one was in the South. Who to pick? Where to go? It's like, I don't know. But I chose to move to the West because that's where most part of my family lived. Also, some of other members that came and helped me with the roof, and we were very close with my cousins there. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna go to Jylland. I put my house up for sale, and it was like right at that time. That was in 2006, and everything had been going up. The economy was going up, 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 up. And the house prices were really high, and then by that it started going down. And I was like, oh my god, am I going to be able to sell this house? Also, before I bought the house, there had been made some illegal stuff with the electricity. So there was actually some illegal electricity in the house. And I was so afraid that I would be held responsible for that. I had no idea how it was made. Nobody could tell me how it was done and how to change it, but it was there. So I just said, okay, God, please, can you just send somebody who's an electrician to buy this house, because then he can know how to fix it. And who bought my house? An electrician, of course. It's like, that's so yeah. But I put up the house for sale, and because of school and stuff like that, we needed to move before the house was even sold. So I moved to my sister's place in Jylland, and the house. And when I came to Jylland, I started, listening to people saying, "Oh, you shouldn't get out of the market, the real estate market. You should reinvest, and you should put your money back in the house, and blah blah blah." And I was like, but that's not the plan. The plan was not to own, but to live for rent, so that I can just have somebody come over and fix whatever needs fixing. But then I started, oh, okay, I went into that fear of, oh, this money, I better put them back into a house. Once my house is sold, I better buy a new one. And I started looking for houses, and I couldn't understand why my house didn't sell. It didn't sell. It didn't sell. And it went on for over a year. Suddenly I realized, but Guni, what was it you said? What was the reason why you moved? I didn't want to own a house. I wanted to live for rent. And I was like, okay. So I didn't get back, better get back to the plan. So I came back to the feeling I had once I decided to move. And I said, okay, I'm gonna live for rent. I'm just gonna find something to rent. Boom, the house sold. It was like,
look at that.
Every single time in my life, I feel so protected against myself also, against all these crazy ideas I get from being in my head. So, when I'm in my heart, I know what to do. I know what's right for me. But sometimes you get convinced in your head, oh, it might be better to do this, and this little fear of, if you get out of the real estate market, you won't get back in, and blah, 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 and all these. And then I made different decisions that wasn't correct for me, and then the universe is so clever. It just says, okay, I'm just going to hold this back. I'm just going to hold it back. Okay, you're not aligned.
You still
You're
don't
not
know.
aligned.
You still don't know.
Get back, woman, to your alignment. Girl, come on. So once I was back aligned with my inner truth, which was, I do not wish to have the responsibility for a house, I went back and I rented something, and my house sold.
Oh, wow.
And it was an electrician who bought my house. Yeah.
Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be extending this recording a little bit, because we had a little cut there, but it's working out for you, because you're going to get some bonus information from Guni today. So we'll see you on the next recording. So stay tuned, and you will have the continuation in a few minutes. Okay. So here we are again. And where were you, Guni? Oh my God, your story is just like even I can't even stop you and say, hey, like there's a lot to process, and a lot to learn from what you're saying. So yeah, please continue. Just go wherever your heart feels you need to go to.
I just sit here and I'm just inspired. I'm like, oh gosh, I need to write a book. This is so much information.
Because you stopped at the point of the house when you went into your heart space, and you eventually decided that no, actually this wasn't the plan. The plan was I wanted that, and your house got sold. And yeah.
So it got sold, and I moved. I already had moved, but I was like, that chapter of my life in that part of Denmark was over. So, but it's like fast forward, the way I come to Jylland, the way that I get the new job, everything is just so divinely guided. It's like the job I get, the people I meet there, the families I get connected with. I at the work I get, the people that I get to help there. And in this time I've been wanting to educate myself as a coach. So I was looking for that, and I was planning to join a place where I could be educated as a coach. And when I actually paid the deposit, but right before I had to pay the full payment, I had this huge bill come in that I was not prepared for. So I had to give up the coaching education. And I was like, okay, well, what now? And a couple of years went by. And then my sister, she sends me a link with an email for an education that's called a spiritual mentor. I'm like, oh, I was at this time I was looking pretty much a lot into the chakra, spirituality, meditation. Yeah, self-development was huge for me at this time because I could feel that, this I had an urge to expand. I need to grow. I need to expand. I need to know what more can I do? How, what else can life offer me when I'm in this, when I live my life this way, fully in trust. But I said, okay, I know there's a reason she sent me that email. So I went in the link and I was looking at it and I was like, it was exciting, but it was out of my comfort zone. And then I said, oh, okay, but that's in a different part of Denmark. I can't do that education. And I was like, whew. So I didn't have to do that. And then I said, because I'm in this way of thinking now, I'm like, okay, so if the universe sends me this, what is it that it's pointing me towards? And I said, oh, that coaching education. Maybe I should go and get that coaching education now. So I went back to this company that offered these educations, and I go into the website, and lo and behold, what do I see on the front? Spiritual mentor. I was like, no, 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 no. They were offering a spiritual mentor education, and I was like, no, 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 I can't do that. That's too woo woo. I can't do that. But honoring what I have learned until now about guidance, about how the universe, God, shows you the directions, leaves you little nuggets. Look here, what over here? Look at this, maybe this. All these hints. So I go in and I look at the education, and it says, well, you have to apply to be approved. And I was like, okay, but I'm, they won't approve me. I have no education in any directions in that way. I'm not like a psychologist. I'm not anything that way. So I get I get approved to seek to get to go on the education. So okay, so I follow, I fill out the form, all the formalities about the education, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna get in. They won't accept me. But they accepted me. Okay, that's it. This is it. I have to do this. I didn't have the money, but I just had to figure out, get a loan, something. I had to do this. I was so convinced. I knew, like, this is what I have to do. And I was like, I can't sell myself as a spiritual mentor. I can sell myself as a coach. People know what a coach is. But what's a spiritual mentor? That's so when I took the education, I was like, okay, I'm just doing this for me. I'm just doing this for me, for my own education, for my own growth, for my own self-awareness. And I did that in 2015. I finished. And I've just been using it for myself, for my own growth, and that has really, like, catapulted me in my life, in the way that I live my life. Today I live my life like totally in trust that everything is always working out. When I follow my inner guidance, my bliss, my anything that is not fear, right? I have decided that I will never ever be make decisions on background of fear anymore. I will not do things because that's the most safe to do, because that's on the basis of fear. I'm not looking for safety. I'm not looking for the right way, like political right or ethical right or whatever. It's like everything I do, every step I take, I have promised myself from now on will be guided, divinely guided. And so that has now brought me to Spain again. I'm back in Spain. What you don't know is that my parents, they stayed here all along. So my parents, they live in Spain. They live an hour from where I am now. My dad just turned 90. My mother is 83, and they are very well. They are very healthy, and so I'm not here to take care of them because they are old. I'm here to heal my childhood traumas. I'm here to heal my relationship with my parents. And in healing that relationship with my parents, everything that went on when I was a child, all this traumas, I'm healing. I am getting closer to being more of who I can be. The more I feel, the more I heal the traumas of my past, the more I can embrace standing forth in my power and shine my light, and embrace all the teachings that I've had from life, embrace who I am, that I am divinely guided, that we are pure light, we are consciousness, we are here to spread love. We're here to spread love and to transmute fear and limitations into joy and love and expansion and possibilities, opportunities. It's so yeah, the way that I came down here is also amazing, but that's, I think we're just
That's
gonna
another
have
book.
you have, yeah, I have to write that book. You will have to read that in the book because it's so amazing. I am so honored to be on this journey. I'm so honored. I feel so blessed for every single thing that happened in my life. All the things that I once thought was bad in my life, today I'm so grateful for them because they have transformed me into the person I am today. They have given me um, the resilience, the trust, the belief, the knowing that we are all here for a reason. We are all here with a special gift to give. And I am now stepping into that gift. I am now stepping into sharing that. So I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but it's going to be amazing.
So my question, like, to you, if you were to write a book, oh my God, what would it be like going back to the past now? It's not going to be easy writing this book, like to put yourself back in that moment when you were going through that. And like sometimes you're like, what, I don't want to get back into that vibration of feeling that. But although it's going to help many people going forward in writing your book, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I feel that today I will be able to go into those feelings from a different perspective. Today I have understanding. I'm confident that I will be able to describe those feelings, but from a balanced way. Because I understand them today. I totally understand where they come from. That's one of the things I'm so grateful for that this has brought me, is this immense understanding of human suffering. I understand so deeply why we suffer. And I also know so deeply that it's not necessary. It's not necessary to suffer. It's like you say, pain is inevitable, suffering is a choice. And that is a profound truth in my life, because you can transmute that pain into the most amazing, beautiful gems and diamonds and gold that you can share with other people. So yeah, I let's see how it will be, but I can feel it more and more. And I know I'm sitting with you. You wrote your book. I'm like, it's yeah, it's that's a hint. It's a hint.
The second question I have is, what tell us a little bit more about your qualification as a spiritual mentor. And you just never know if my community, would come to you, support you. Please tell us where you are, how they can find you. Um, Tell us a little bit more about your mentorship program and what you offer.
Well, that is in the making. I right now I have a website that's called GuniBlohm.com. And if you go to that website, you will be able to read some of my stories, the divorce thing. I did it some years ago, and at that time I was convinced I was going to be a coach, and I was going to coach people through as stepping into their power. And so that is like, and I'm now, the life is a journey, and I am further now. So stepping into my spiritual mentoring is something different. It's I've always felt that what I'm really good is I'm good at listening, and I'm good at listening between the lines, reading between the lines. I have a skill of deep understanding for emotions. I have a very high emotional intelligence, I think you call it. And that is, of course, because I've went through so many things myself, and I've transmuted all those. I understand. I just, it's difficult to sit here and say, but I really feel that the wisdom that has come through all these things that I have experienced in my life is something that I can relate. Most people, I really feel that I'm not a specialist in anything. I see myself as somebody who has tried so many things. In my own healing journey, I've been into human design, gene keys. I'm reading angel cards. I pray, I meditate, I dance, I sing, I connect with Mother Earth. I sing shamanic songs. I go to the well every day and bless the water. I sing the water song every day. It's like I'm just like such a chameleon. I have so many skills, and it's difficult for me to pinpoint which one to go for. And I don't believe that I'm a person that needs to go in that detailed kind of thing. I believe that I am a person who people can come to, and they will relate with me on some issue or some area, and I will be able to point them in the right direction where they can get more of that help. And I can point people to these specialists who have special knowledge in diet. I know a lot about diet. I know a lot about health. I know a lot about yeah, spirituality, about a lot of stuff. So, but I'm not an expert in anything. I would say I'm an expert in life. I'm an expert in hanging in there because everything is going to be all right. I can guide people back to themselves, back to their center by grounding. You have everything you need inside yourself. Stop looking for love outside yourself. Stop looking for other people to give you the opportunities you want. Start creating them for yourself. You are so powerful that it's, yeah, I get so touched because we are so powerful.
Definitely. So tell us before we go. Tell us before we go. Where is your family today? Because here you are. You're in Spain. You're back to the beaches of the Bible.
Yeah, I'm actually in the mountains. I'm actually in the mountains now. If I can share screen, I have the picture of the.
Yeah. Let me put. Oh, there we go. You can share screen. Yeah. Let us see
my
that.
view.
Oh
That's
my
my
God!
view.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Too beautiful.
And it's the house. It's actually my sister's house, but she doesn't live here. She lives in Denmark, and she's been wanting somebody to look after the house. And I've been wanting to be in Spain.
There you go.
So synchronicity is like, yeah, it's a win-win situation for both of us. And I get to be with my parents, and I get to ground myself in the mountains. If anybody knows anything about human design, my scenery is mountains, and I'm here in the mountains now. It's like everything is just falling into place. It's so amazing. And the latest news is that I connected with a Danish girl when I was in Denmark, and now she's in Marbella, who's like it's an hour away from here, and she's offered me to share a clinic or a shop with her in Marbella 2 days a week. And this is my next step. I'm going to, get out of my comfort zone from staying here safe in the mountains, and I'm going to go to this city where there's a lot of people, and I'm going to shine my light there, and I'm going to offer human design and cacao ceremonies, and it's yeah, I'm just
Marbella is beautiful. Marbella is so
mm,
beautiful. I mean,
yeah,
you'd love the little town.
yeah.
Now I see a little
So
picture there of a big, yeah, what is that? Tell us.
that's well, I just saw this picture when I was trying to find some different ones to just so you don't have to look at my face the whole time. Um, and this is a picture I took in France. I was there visiting my daughter and my grandkids, and we went to this park, and it just had these huge flower pots, and I just felt that this, sometimes life can make you feel very small, and that everything is happening around you, and it's difficult for you to catch up with everything, and I just felt this is like hang in there. Life is not happening to you, it's happening for you, you know it is. So
Amazing.
yeah, this is just little me hanging in life, hanging in with life, and yeah, and I landed safely. I did. So that's just me in the mountains. Um, yeah, so I get to ground myself here, and I get to connect with spirit and Mother Nature and God and universe, and ask for my next steps. Yeah, how I can shine my light.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Guni Blohm today. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Really, really amazing and impressive. I'm really grateful and I feel grounded, that you've shared such detail of your life. Not many people can do that. So I want to say thank you, and thank you for helping this community, sharing with us. And now I'll hand it over to Guni to give her final thoughts and to say bye.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lucy. It's wow. I was like, how am I gonna get all this into half an hour? There's so many things I left out, but I trust spirit, the universe, God. I trust that I have delivered what was most valuable for you in this community, and I'm just honored for anybody to be able to share what I have shared. And I just wish that every one of you who's listening to this, that you will feel touched, that you will feel touched by the love of God, and that you will know that you are enough. You are enough. You don't have to be anything else than what you are right now. And you have everything inside of you. Trust the universe, trust God, trust the guidance. Everything is always working out for you. Much love.
Bye, guys. See you on the next one.